Hurry on. So today we're going to be doing a class of gentle types of movements, and when we look from a yoga therapy point of view, these types of movements can be used for lots of different people with lots of different problems, but specifically working on the joints. So those people who are very new to yoga or have never done yoga before, definitely these kind of movements are going to be the good kind of thing to start with, so that they can build up. Because as you'll see, like you might know that this person has asthma, or this person has diabetes, or this person has digestive issues. They need to do all this list of asanas, but then they can't actually achieve them yet. So all these types of movements that we're going to do today are going to be a really good start for their yoga practice, and then they can build up from there. So we've already done some different types of movements for back pain and shoulder, neck and upper back. So some of them will be similar, some of them will be repeats, and some things will be new. And some of the main conditions we can think about with these types of movements, apart from of course students who are new to yoga, people who are having arthritis, different types of joint issues, stiffness in the joints, chronic inflammation, where very gentle movements can be beneficial, certainly not acute inflammation, only chronic. And then other things like people who are having high blood pressure, who need to really start with very gentle movements that are not going to be affecting the heart in any strong way. All of these types of movements we're doing today are going to be really helpful for pregnancy. Then anyone who is recovering from an illness. So it might be that they've had a very chronic illness, or they might have had surgery, so they can't immediately go back to their regular yoga practice if they had one. They need to start with simple types of movements and then build up. So all these movements can be really beneficial. Also thinking of people who are very heavy in weight, so they need to lose the weight, but then they can't go and do 20 sun salutations because it's just not possible for their body at this point. So these kind of movements can be helpful. In the next session we'll be practicing some of these movements in supine position too, because for some people, especially if they're recovering from illness, or even for some people who have just been very sick, or some who have been very overweight, they actually have to be in the bed, and they have to do the yoga practices from the bed. So there's lots of options where we can use these practices. So let's start by coming into a cross-legged position. Now we know that a lot of people who are new to yoga, or have a lot of stiffness in their body, they can find the cross-legged position pretty hard. Just getting down to the mat can be an issue, especially with people having pain in their knees, pain in their hips, and it can also just be that they don't feel confident to get to the ground. So chair yoga, of course, is going to be a really great practice as well that they could start with. Okay. A lot of the time, it's not getting to the ground, it's getting up from the ground. So you might need to give a little bit more support there, a little help. Now we're going to start in a cross-legged position. Of course, there's lots of different positions that you can be sitting in to begin a class. Cross-legged position is a little simpler compared to things like Padmasana, Lotus and Swastikasana, auspicious pose. Now we're not going to be asking them to kind of sit in any of those kind of positions. Cross-legged is one option. Another option I often do is just to have one foot in front of the other, and they might have quite a gap as well with their feet from the rest of their body, just so that they can start getting used to folding the legs in this way. Otherwise, if they have a little meditation stool, they can sit in that. They can also sit in Vajrasana if it suits, because for some people Vajrasana is fine, the thunderbolt, but cross-leg is a problem. They can also use a wall as a support, or any kind of other little seat thing that makes them feel comfortable, legs in front. But eventually we want to be able to get them used to sitting in this way. So yeah, this is one of the options, with feet in front or coming into cross-leg. The main issue with things like cross-legged position is that often the spine starts to do this. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our spine upright as much as we can, so avoiding that hunching. Now we'll bring our hands into Dhyan Mudra and have the palms facing upwards, closing your eyes gently, taking a deep breath in and out, and again in and out. Just allowing the body to relax. Notice how you're feeling. Notice if there's any stiffness in any part of your body, any discomfort anywhere. Notice the breath. And now we'll start with 3 Oms and the Guru Mantra. Inhale. Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Gurave Namaha, Gurave Namaha. Gently opening your eyes, releasing your hands. So we're going to start by coming into the standing position. So we're going to be doing the standing joint-free movements to begin with. So having your feet apart, okay, so hip width distance, and we're going to start with circles of the arms. Okay, so just with one arm to begin with, because when we start with one arm, we build awareness in that side a little more than if we're doing it with 2. Now we've done the arm movements in standing position and supine also. So those movements we can also apply. In fact, all the different types of movements we've been doing, arm movements, leg movements, knee movements, are all very good. Okay, let's go the other way, and you can do it with the breath. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And remember, you can slow it down. So this movement is not only going to be helpful for the shoulder joint, it's also having a nice effect on the chest and on the upper back. And for some people who do have a lot of stiffness, they might be like this. That's okay. They might not be able to raise their arm up. Whatever is possible for them. Okay, relax. And it might be also that they're not used to doing any kind of movement, so they just do 1 and have a rest. And then 2, have a rest. So let's begin. So using the breath, also nice to encourage your students to close their eyes when they're doing this, because it will again build the awareness a little bit more. So you can do that too if you want. Let's go the other way. This practice is also good for allowing people to slow down, because the tendency is they start like this and then they realize, okay, I need to go a little bit slower here. Alright, relax. Shake out the shoulders. We're going to do it again, but with both arms. So inhale up, exhale back. So just continuing. And the other way. Relax. Shake out the shoulders. So we've done it arm circles by themselves. Now we've done doubles. Now we're going to do alternating. Okay, so like one, like we're swimming. And the other way, backstroke. Okay, now we're going to do one more, which is a little tricky and kind of messes with your brain a little bit. So we're going to try to do the opposites. And the other way, so starting to get you thinking a little. Okay, shake it out. Alright, so we've done some arm circles. Now we're going to do the Ragdoll movement. So bring your arms up, and all we're going to do is start to turn to the side. And the other side, need to come forward. So we're starting with our arms at the same height. Just do this slowly, don't go too fast. And if anyone feels a little bit dizzy, then make it even slower. Okay, you can do it this speed as well. So we're keeping our pelvis and legs pretty much the same. There'll be a little bit of movement, but not a lot. So we're getting a nice twist. And then slowly start having the arms further down. I've already started. Until they're wrapping around your hands. So you want your arms to be really, really loose, like a ragdoll. So you've started up high, as you can see, and then you've moved down. Okay, so this is our ragdoll movement. It's just nice to free up the body a little bit, especially at the beginning. Another ragdoll movement is a forward bend where we move around a little bit. So we'll just do that too. So inhale and exhale, slowly bending forward as far as it's comfortable for you to go. Okay, and of course someone who's new, they might be like this, and that's fine too. Okay, so you're bending down and then you're just going to roll a little to the sides. So this will just help to loosen up the lower back, and also you're getting a nice little stretch into your calves, your hamstrings. You can relax your head as well, your neck. If you're finding your hands keep touching the ground, you can hold your elbows as well. Okay, slowly coming up. Okay, next we're going to do just some hip rotations. So keeping our feet apart, slowly rotating. So keeping your spine up. So we're just really focusing on the pelvis here and the lower back. And we've done quite a few movements like this with the preparatory movements. But this one especially is nice for the back and just loosening up here a little more. And of course, all these standing movements are something that you might encourage your students to do during the day. We'll go the other way. So all the movements that we're going to do today, as I mentioned, helpful for arthritis, to remove stiffness, to improve flexibility. So even people who are doing regular asanas, it's nice to include some of these movements as well, because they'll find that actually they improve with their asanas. To remove pranic blockages as well, that's another one that we can be thinking about. And also to use some of the smaller muscles and ligaments that are not always getting utilised as efficiently as they should be. Like we often use our main muscle groups too much. Okay, so this, when we start doing these little types of movements, it brings more of a balance to our body. So very helpful for that. Then these movements are also helpful for improving coordination and especially to build awareness. Like even people who might be doing regular asanas, they don't always understand, oh, I have stiffness in my hip. Oh, it's not in my left hip, it's only in my right hip. What's going on here? Maybe I need to be adding in some hip movements before I do certain types of poses. So building that awareness is really important, whether it's someone who has just started yoga or whether they've been doing it for a while, because there's still a lot of people who are doing yoga but they don't really have awareness of their body, and that depends a lot on the way that they've been taught and the type of practice they're doing. So we want awareness in everything that our students are doing. So awareness of their body before they do an asana, when they're coming into one, when they're holding it, when they're releasing it, and afterwards, how are they feeling? Immediately after, and then later too. Okay, lots of talking here. So now bringing our feet together, we'll bend our knees, and we're just going to do a knee rotation. Okay, the other way. Alright, now while we're in standing, I'm just going to show you about doing another movement for your hip. It is a little bit harder to balance, so it's not for all, but it can be nice to include. So all we're doing is lifting up our knee, bringing it out and down. Out and down, and then we can come back the other way, lifting up, around and down. Up, around and down. Okay, we'll do the other side. So bring it up, around and down, and we can go the other way, and back. Shaking out the hips. Now we're going to do ankle rotation. And I like to do this in standing as well because I think it helps to improve the nervous system and the balance. So finding a point to focus on and the eyes. So lifting up our leg. And if it's possible, we can do it like we do with preparatory movement 12, where we're supporting our leg and then rotating. But for some, it might be too hard to lift it that high. So they might just have their leg in front and just be rotating. I'm not sure if you can see that, so I'll just show you here. And if they need the support of the wall, you can use it, or a chair. The other way. Okay, swapping over. The other way. Okay, shaking it up. And we'll come to sitting position. So we're going to do some of the practices for the joints. Now we have done these in the Yoga for the Joints video as well, and we'll be doing some additions too. So starting by coming into a sitting position, and if preferred you can be supporting with the hands on the ground. Okay. The feet a little bit apart, and we're starting with the toes. So just scrunching the toes and stretching the toes away. So we can do it with the breath. So contracting, so inhale, stretching out, exhale, contract. So only the toes. And when you look in our Yogapoint book, you'll see the Pawan Mukdasan Series 1. And that was devised by Swami Satyananda. And many of the movements that we do are also in that. A lot of them are very common. And those movements were specifically to free up the joints. And basically all the joints are covered. So it might be that you do that series, it might be that you do just some different types of movements that we're doing here. Sometimes the whole series, sometimes part of a series. Depends on the condition of your student. And of course there's lots of additions, there's lots of different types of movements that we can actually be doing. Alright, now let's do the ankles. So pushing the heels forward, inhale, exhale, pointing the toes. So we'll just continue in this way. And just this simple movement, it's going to be stretching the calves, stretching the hamstrings. For some of you, you'll even feel it into the hips, because we know everything is connected. And I often ask students to do this if they want to improve with their sitting positions. So not just Vajrasana, the thunderbolt, but even things like Padmasana, the lotus pose. Especially getting used to working up to those positions and holding them for longer. All these movements of the ankles, the knees and the hips are going to be really, really helpful. Okay. Also, if we've got swelling in the ankles, this can be beneficial. We can do this with the legs up the wall as well. Okay, relax. Now before we move a little higher, we'll do the rotation first, so slowly rotating. So again, keeping it slow. And you see a lot of the time people just do this and they don't really pay attention. We want to focus fully on that movement, which can be a little hard. We'll go the other way. Okay, relax. All right. We'll do the ankle rotation one more time, but we're going to do it with the leg bend. Okay, so this time we're holding our foot and we're holding onto our leg and we're rotating. So in this way our ankle can relax a little bit, become a bit more passive instead of active with that movement. go the other way. Alright, now before we move, I'm just going to show you another little movement for the toes. So you've got your knee bent, holding your big toe and your second toe. We're just going to pull them the opposite ways. Okay. And back. So it looks a little funny, it feels a little funny, but it's actually really good to improve the circulation in the toes. Not everyone stretches their feet out very much. And you think of someone who has diabetes, they often have really poor circulation to their extremities. So it's important that they get movement. And in fact, we also know with reflexology, everything is connected. The foot is a representation of the whole body. So it is important that we are getting movement there. All right, now move from the second toe and the third toe. And then the third toe and the fourth toe. And the fourth and the fifth. Our poor toes can get, shoved into all sorts of shoes. So this is really helpful for them to get that little bit of relief. All right. Now we'll move to the other side. So we'll start with that ankle rotation. So holding on to your leg and your foot, slowly rotating. And the other way. Remembering to try and keep your spine upright. So lots of these movements that we're doing, we can apply in the chair. You'll be watching a chair yoga video as well, and I've got my chair yoga book. Alright, now we're going to hold our toes. So our big toe and our second toe. So you can see a bit easier. You might want to fold your leg in if it's hard to keep it out straight. Then our second and third toe. And then our third and fourth toe. Fourth and fifth. Okay, nice and revitalized. Alright, so we've done a little bit of the toes, a little bit of the ankles. Now we'll do the knee contraction. So all we're doing here is inhaling, pressing our knees down. Exhale, relax. Inhale, press. Exhale, relax. So you'll feel it in the tops of your thighs, your quads, and you may feel it around your knees as well. So continuing with the breath, so inhaling, contract, exhale, relax. Inhale, contract, exhale, relax. Inhale, contract, exhale, relax. Okay, now we're going to do knee bending. So from here, you're bending your knee, bringing your foot close, and then extending the leg. Okay. Again, bending and extending. Bending, extending, bending, extending, and you can do it with the breath, of course. So you exhale, inhale, or you can do the opposite too. Exhale, inhale. Now the other side. So again, continue with the breath. Now one other option. Now here we're doing an easy option, but you can also support the thigh and extend the leg in this way. Of course, it is going to involve a little bit of the core to maintain your upright position. But you can also start with the simpler version and you can build up. Okay, so that's our knee bending. Now we'll move to our knee rotation. Just turning a little to the side for you. So supporting our thigh here and slowly rotating. And using the breath. So we inhale up, exhale down. And for some it might be hard for them to maintain this position, so they might need to use the wall. Okay. You see the wall, and then I'm rotating. Of course, this is much easier in a chair as well. The other way. And of course we can do it in supine. Alright, swapping over. And remember, it's not exactly a full circle, it's more like an egg shape. We don't have as much movement, in the hinge joint as we do the ball and socket. The other way. Okay, relax. Shake out the legs. Another thing I often do is just get them to tap their legs. It just helps to wake them up, especially at the beginning of a class. Okay, feels good. All right, now we're going to do the half butterfly. So bending your right leg, placing your foot onto your thigh. Now, a lot of people, they might put their foot on the thigh. They might be like this, which is fine. Okay. Over time, they'll be able to slowly bring the knee further down, and they'll be able to bring the foot a little higher up. If someone is having knee pain, then stick with the foot against the thigh, and they can just do the movement. So we're inhaling up, exhaling down. Okay. And it's really important also not to force the knee down. It should just be going gently as far as it's comfortable to go. So take any option, and as I've said before, in yoga therapy, it's good to try all the different variations. So you can experiment with how does it feel when my foot's further away. Of course, it's harder to get your knee down as well. So this is good for loosening of the hip, but it's also having that nice stretch onto the top of the feet, because there can be quite a lot of stiffness for people there. All right, now we're going to do the hip rotation. So you can hold your foot and your knee and rotate. I find a lot of people don't like this one because they feel their foot is pressing on their thigh a lot. So I like to lift up the foot and then rotate. You can experiment and see what feels most comfortable for you. Don't mind the cockatoos going by. And the other way. Okay, next we're going to do the rocking the baby movement. So the simplest option is to keep holding your foot, have your hand around your knee, and move from side to side. Once it's comfortable and the body's starting to loosen up a bit more, then you can bring the foot closer. But this will be a little bit harder for someone who's new to yoga or has a lot of stiffness. What I like to do also after this is just hold it for a moment, and it might be that they stay like this. They might be able to lift their foot up a little bit higher, whatever's possible, just to get that little stretch. And release. Checking it out. So now the other side. So here, foot on the side or foot against the side. We're inhaling and exhaling. Okay, so any of those options, whichever you prefer. Remember, we're not forcing the body in any way. Everything should be gentle, everything should be relaxed. Okay, now the rotation. Or this option. Oops. Yeah. First rotation. I was moving too fast. Alright, now rocking the baby. And now this option, if it feels comfortable. And then holding the knee back. I've got that column in the way, so it's a bit harder. Okay. And if you want a little bit higher, you can bring the foot just to stretch a little bit more into that hip. And release, shaking it out. Alright, so we've done the toes, we've done the ankles, we've done the knees, we've done the hips. We will do the butterfly, which is also the hips, the inner thighs. So bring the soles of your feet together. Now this can be quite a strong one for someone who's new to yoga. So you can adjust it. Instead of having the feet really close, you can bring the feet a little further away so that they feel a bit more comfortable. And then over a period of time, they can move it closer. We want to make sure that our spine stays upright. There is a tendency to start hunching. Okay, so holding the feet, we can inhale up, exhale down. And I would encourage you to, as I'm saying always, experiment with these easier options, because we often forget about them once we're used to practicing yoga. So if you want, you can have the feet a little closer. So inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. And continuing. All right, and this time holding it, and just keep the spine upright, and see, especially when we're just holding it, if possible to bring the feet a little closer. If not, it's fine. And just staying in that position, breathing normally. Okay, and release. Shake out your legs. And you can just bring your legs into a cross-legged position. So we've done the lower half, now we're going to do the upper half. So some of this is, yes, definitely a little bit of repetition here, but it's still going to be helpful. Okay, So we're going to start with our hands. So starting with stretching out our fingers. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So we're continuing in this way. Now it can be hard to be holding out the arms for this long, so you can also do the option of the elbows bent, or even just stretching out at the sides. Now we're going to do what I call Frankenstein hands, so pushing your fingers upwards, opening your palms, exhale down. So inhale up, exhale down. Remember the options here? So this is really helpful for your hands, your forearms. But of course, if you do have your arms out, it's also going to have a strengthening effect in your shoulders, your upper arms. Relax, shake them out. Alright, now we're going to do wrist rotation, so making little fists, slowly rotating. And the other way. Check it out. Okay, now we're just going to do a little bit of pressing of the fingertips. So starting with the fingertips here, press, relax, press, relax, press, relax, press, relax. Now the fingers, press, relax, press, relax, press, relax, press, relax. And the palms, so you're still pressing the fingers as well. Press, relax, press, relax, press, relax, press, relax. Shake it out. So this is good also, for nervous system disorders, for things like Parkinson's, that very shaky hand. This is really good to do. Now we'll just do a little wrist movement. So palms together, slowly bringing your hands away, down, up, and the other way. Check it out. Okay, so now we're going to do an elbow rotation. So hand under the elbow, slowly rotate. The other way. Okay, other side. And you can use your breath for this. And the other way. Okay, now we'll touch our shoulders. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now out to the side. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Relax. We'll do a shoulder rotation. So bring your fingertips onto your shoulder, just one, slowly rotating. You can again use the breath as you inhale up and exhale back. And like I was mentioning with the arm circles, it's really nice to do this one at a time, because not only will you build awareness and more understanding for that side, but you have more range of rotation. So So though it can feel nice to have both at the same time, which you can do too, but you get more effect when you're doing one. Okay, we'll go the other way. Relax. Fingertips on the other shoulder. Again, remember to keep your spine upright. The legs can be in any kind of position that feels comfortable for you. And the other way. Okay, now we'll do both together. So fingertips onto the shoulders, elbows towards each other, inhale up, exhale back. So you'll find that even though it's nice, and it especially gives a nice stretch into the chest, but you get to a point when you're bringing your elbows back that you can't really go much further because the muscles kind of pushing against each other. So that opening is not as much, that stretch so much. So if you do both single and double, you're going to get a lot more benefit. We'll go the other way. Okay, relax. Now there's lots of other shoulder movements that we do in the other videos, so I won't repeat all of them, but all of those are going to be good for opening the chest and the shoulders, removing tension, especially in the upper back. There is a tendency for a lot of people to keep all tension up here. Okay, so those gentle movements are going to be helpful, especially in combination with a lot of relaxation too. So we'll just do a couple of movements of the neck. So inhale, exhale, bring your chin down towards your chest. Inhale, straighten, exhale back. And remember to be very careful with this. Inhale, straighten, exhale to the side. You're only going as far as it's comfortable. Inhale, straighten, exhale, other side. Inhale, straighten. Okay, now exhale, bending forward. Now slowly rotating. So you're inhaling to the left, inhale to the back, exhale right, exhale to the front. And we don't keep going because that can be quite bad on your neck. We're going to go the other way. So we inhale to the right, inhale to the back, exhale left, exhale to the front, and inhale, bring your head up. So someone who's having neck pain, now often they're feeling it when they bring their chin down, especially if they have cervical spondylitis or some degeneration here in this vertebrae, but it can also be when they're tilting their head back. So you need to be very gentle with the neck movements, make sure they're not rushing it. It might be that instead of doing this whole movement, you just do part of it. So you might just go to the side, and then you might go to the other side. You might just tilt back and do that back part. Okay, so it's not that you have to do the whole thing straight away, but we definitely don't continue rotations. Okay, it's been well proven now that that can make you feel very uncomfortable. It can create a lot of dizziness, problems of balance, and it can hurt your neck. Okay, so we've done lots of different movements for all of the joints now. So we're going to have a short Shavasana and we'll finish. So let's lay down. So just before we're moving into it, I'd like you to have a look at the section on Shavasana in your book, because there's a lot written about the practice of Shavasana and the effects of doing it. Now there's lots of ways that we can give a Shavasana as well. There's lots of options if it's uncomfortable. But yes, please have a look at all the things that will be beneficial. So let's lay down. On your back, your feet are apart, your palms facing upwards. Your head can be tilted a little to the side, or you can keep your neck straight. Take a deep breath in and out, and again in and out, allowing your body to relax. Relax your face, all the muscles of your face, your eyes, nose, mouth, and jaw. Relax your forehead, the crown of your head, the back of your head, your neck and throat, your shoulders, chest, upper back. Relax your upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and hands. Relaxing your chest, your abdomen, your upper abdomen, your lower abdomen, the middle of your back, your lower back, your whole back. Relax your pelvis, your hips, your bottom, your thighs, knees, calf muscles, shins, ankles, and feet. Your whole body is relaxed. The whole front side of your body, the whole back side of your body, the whole right side, the whole left side, your whole body. Take a long, slow breath in and out. Feel that every breath you're taking, you're breathing in peace, calmness, positivity, and exhaling out any tension, any stress, any negativity. Feel the whole body relax, and the body is relaxed. The mind is also relaxing. Now we're slowly going to prepare to release Shavasana. Wriggle your fingers and toes, stretch your arms. Maybe stretch them above your head, sigh, yawn, twist, whatever you feel your body needs to do. And then slowly rolling onto your side. And coming up to sitting position. We'll bring our hands back into down mudra, closing your eyes, the spine upright, your body's relaxed. And we'll finish with 3 Om Sanam Shanti. So with me, inhale. ease in your body, mind and soul. Rub your palms, place them over your eyes, and slowly releasing. We'll just move into Paradasana. So Paradasana, mountain pose, interlock your fingers, turning your palms out and up. Inhale, exhale to the side, inhale up, exhale other side, inhale and exhale arms down. Hari Om.